Welcome to the Bookworm Duo, where we explore a variety of books. Let's get started. Today we're diving into a pretty substantial work, Robert Greene's The Daily Laws. 366 meditations on power, seduction, strategy, and human nature. It's kind of like a philosophical yearbook.
Yeah, but it's more than just a collection of thoughts. Greene actually frames it as a modern Bildungsroman, an education novel.
Right, where the listener, you, are the main character and the journey.
Yeah.
It's about shedding those, well, comfortable illusions we all have and facing reality head on.
That framing is crucial. I mean, Greene's whole point is that we're operating with brains designed for, like, savanna survival, avoiding predators.
But the predators are different now.
Exactly. No more lions, mostly. The threats today are subtle. They're people, their psychology, office politics, and all these sort of false notions that culture feeds us.
So the book is a path out of our own heads, away from fantasy, towards becoming ruthlessly realistic.
Pretty much. It's about seeing things as they are.
Okay, so our mission for this deep dive is to walk through the book the way Greene structured it, chronologically from January to December. It's a whole arc.
It really is. You start with self-discovery, move through mastering skills, navigating the social jungle, and end up with some pretty advanced strategy and even cosmic awareness.
Let's start at the beginning then, with part one, the path to mastery. This covers the first quarter of the year.
Right, January through March. And this whole section is intensely focused inward on understanding yourself and unlocking your potential.
January kicks off with your life's task. The idea here is to cut through the noise, worrying about your degree or making quick money, and reconnect with that core purpose, that voice you might have had as a kid.
And he offers a really powerful reframe here. He says failures, mistakes, conflicts. They aren't just setbacks. Often that's your best education because it burns away the fluff.
So how do you find that purpose if it's buried? He gives the example of V.S. Ramachandran, the neuroscientist, right?
Yeah, it's a great example. As a kid in India, Ramachandran was obsessed with collecting rare seashells, especially the ones with weird mutations or anomalies.
Okay, shells. How does that link to neuroscience?
Well, decades later, as a top neuroscientist, he just channeled that exact same fascination, that curiosity about anomalies, into studying weird neurological stuff like phantom limbs or synesthesia.
Ah, so he didn't find a new passion. He just applied his original sort of nerdy core interest to a bigger field.
Precisely. It's that transfer of energy. Greene insists mastery isn't some mystical gift or luck. It's tapping into that latent power within us all. Through sheer dedication, you find your weird little niche and you just commit.
That dedication flows right into February's theme, the ideal apprenticeship.
Right. This is the big transformative phase, maybe 5 to 10 years. And the key is to see it as an adventure, a voyage, not just some boring mandatory training.
Greene talks about his own experience trying to learn French in Paris when he was 22. His classroom French was useless.
Yeah, he realized pretty fast that real learning demands intensity. It was sink or swim, basically. He got so immersed he started dreaming in French. And the learning happened by doing. Out on the streets, not from a book.
And that practical skill becoming indispensable ties into his power strategies later, doesn't it?
Absolutely. The core advice for this apprenticeship is make yourself necessary. Strive to be the only one who can do what you do. Law 11 of power, make others depend on you.
Because if you're replaceable.
You're disposable. Harsh, maybe, but that's the strategic reality he presents.
Okay, so after years of this deep work, March brings us to the master at work. This is where skill and intuition finally click together.
It's the payoff, right? Greene mentions writing his book Mastery. After reading hundreds of books, taking thousands of notes, suddenly ideas for chapters just started popping into his head, seemingly out of nowhere. He was literally dreaming up the structure.
So intuition isn't magic, it's just deeply processed preparation bubbling up. I like that he pushes back against the romantic idea of the tortured artist.
Yeah, no shortcuts through madness or drugs here. He insists creativity needs serious discipline, a craftsman's spirit. He even says slowness is a virtue.
Why slowness? Seems counterintuitive today.
Because rushing defaults you to the familiar, the cliché. Slowness forces deep thought, reflection, revision, like a craftsman perfecting every detail. That focus makes the ego fade, you get into flow, and that's where real innovation happens. The work becomes everything.
Okay, so you've done the work, you've achieved a level of mastery, you step out confidently, and then April hits. The political battlefield.
Ah, yes, the reality slap. You realize the world, especially the work world, often doesn't reward pure merit. It's riddled with politics, insecurity, games.
Greene tells a funny or maybe painful story about working at a magazine or documentary place.
Right. He was really good, finding more stories than anyone. Objectively successful. But his boss was clearly unhappy with him. He tried everything, being friendly, flattering her, involving her. Nothing worked.
And the punchline was,
He finally realized he'd broken Law 1, never outshine the master. His success, however earned, just made his superior feel insecure.
ouch. So what did he do after that realization? How did that change him?
It was a huge shift. He decided, okay, no more emotional reactions to this stuff. His new strategy, become a detached master observer. Watch people, including himself, like mice in a laboratory. Cold, but effective.
That cold observation sets up May, recognizing toxic types. Seeing past the masks people wear. How do you tell a genuine person from, say, the aggressive pleaser?
The rule is stark. Judge people by their actions, especially under stress or when it's inconvenient for them, not by their nice words. The aggressive pleaser is all smiles until they feel slighted or threatened. Then, that hidden envy and aggression leaks out, maybe as passive aggression or subtle sabotage.
Their niceness is a shield, not their core.
Exactly. It's a defense mechanism. And when things get confusing, when you can't figure out why someone's acting a certain way,
You have to play detective.
pretty much. Ask the old Roman question, cui bono? Who benefits? Greene's a realist. He believes self-interest drives almost everything. Trace the benefit, and you'll likely find the real motive behind murky actions.
Following the self-interest trail leads us to June. Mastering indirection and manipulation. He calls deception the divine craft. That sounds provocative.
It is. He uses a great analogy. Playing pool. Beginners just see the one ball they need to hit now.
But a master.
A master sees the angles on top of angles. They're thinking 3, 4, or 5 shots ahead, positioning the cue ball, hiding their real intentions. Strategy is about that multi-layered thinking.
And a key part of that indirection is Law 6. Cultivate an air of mystery. Don't be too available.
Right. Scarcity creates value. Think about the Dutch tulip mania he references. Make something rare, even artificially, and its price skyrockets. For people, saying less makes you seem more powerful, more profound.
And less likely to say something dumb.
That too. If you're everywhere, constantly talking, constantly seen, you become common, cheapened in a strategic sense. Absence really can increase respect.
That psychological maneuvering takes us straight into July. The seductive character. Why is seduction treated as such a high-level art in this framework?
Because it's influence. Through pleasure and enchantment, not force. It's pure psychology, not really about looks. Greene argues people are basically dying for enchantment.
They want an escape, an adventure.
Exactly. They want to be let out of their boring routines. The seducer provides that journey, tapping into something almost childlike, that desire to be captivated.
Like recreating that feeling of being swept away by an adult when you were a kid. But how do you keep that magic alive? It seems like it would fade.
That's where the coquette tactic comes in. Master the art of delaying satisfaction. It's a calculated push and pull. Give just enough attention to create hope, then withdraw to create longing and frustration.
Keep them off balance.
Precisely. It destabilizes the target psychologically. They never feel they fully have you, so they remain hooked, always striving for that elusive, complete possession.
Okay, moving into the second half of the year, things get even more strategic. August is the master persuader. This is about influencing people indirectly, softening them up.
And the ultimate tool for that? Stories. Greene points out that if you hit people with facts and arguments straight away, their defenses go up.
But a story pulls them in.
Right. They don't know where it's going. So they relax, they listen, their minds open up, making them receptive to the message embedded in the narrative.
And what about dealing with strong emotions, like anger or resistance? Don't fight it head on.
No, you move with it, redirect it. There's that classic example of the therapist dealing with a rebellious teenager who just wanted to defy authority.
The one who was supposed to study at home.
Yeah. Therapist told the mom to tell the kid the principal doubted he could succeed studying at home. The kid's rebellious energy, his desire to stick it to the principal, got channeled entirely into studying like crazy, just to prove him wrong.
So you didn't crush the rebellion, you just gave it a new target. Clever.
Very. It's harnessing existing energy.
September then elevates us to the grand strategist, getting above the day-to-day chaos, the tactical hell.
Strategy in this sense is about positioning. Sun Tzu called it shu, the potential force built into your position. It means putting yourself in a situation where you simply have more options, more room to maneuver than your opponent or competitor.
Whereas most people think very linearly, like A leads to B.
Exactly. The strategist sees A leading to B, but also potentially C, D, or E. They're constantly thinking about increasing their mobility, their options.
And Greene warns about getting trapped, right? He uses his own experience with Hollywood.
Yeah, he realized the big paychecks for screenwriting were seductive, but taking them would have boxed him in creatively and strategically. It would have closed off other paths.
So he had to consciously choose a different direction, even though it meant less money short term, just to keep his options open.
That's the strategic mindset. Prioritizing long-term maneuverability over immediate gains that might trap you later. Avoid backing yourself into a corner.
Then the journey starts to turn even more inward in October and November with The Rational Human. This is about reaching a higher self through knowing yourself. But his definition of rationality is interesting. It's not about suppressing emotion.
Not at all. It's about achieving a beautiful harmony between thought and emotion. The key difference between being rational and irrational isn't feeling things, it's awareness.
So if I know I'm anxious but make a decision anyway, acknowledging the anxiety, I'm still being rational.
According to Greene, yes, because you're aware of the emotional influence. The irrational person is the one who feels anxiety but mistakes that feeling for pure logical assessment. They don't see the emotion driving them.
And achieving this requires confronting what he calls the shadow.
Right. Everyone's got a dark side, deep insecurities, hidden aggression, suspicions. If you ignore it or pretend it's not there, it doesn't go away. It just leaks out sideways as anxiety, projection, self-sabotage.
He uses Abraham Lincoln as an example of integrating this.
Yes, brilliantly. Lincoln didn't just tolerate opposing views. He actively brought his fiercest rivals into his cabinet. He forced himself to engage with, manage, and integrate those conflicting personalities and ideas.
And that internal struggle gave him the strength and empathy to lead during the Civil War.
That's the argument. Embracing and integrating your own opposing qualities, your shadow, makes you more whole, more authentic, and ultimately more powerful and resilient.
Which brings us finally to December, the cosmic sublime. After mastering the self, mastering others, mastering strategy, what's left?
Confronting the ultimate reality, mortality. And this became deeply personal for Greene. He actually had a major stroke shortly after writing this section.
Wow. How did that affect his perspective?
He said it didn't make him depressed. Instead, it radically intensified his appreciation for everything. Colors seemed brighter, sounds sharper, relationships more precious, because the precariousness of life became incredibly real.
Facing death makes you truly alive, and that connects to the feeling of the sublime.
Yes. One way to access it, he suggests, is just contemplating the sheer complexity of the human brain. It has more possible connection pathways than there are positively charged particles in the known universe. Meditating on that inner infinity can evoke that sense of awe, the sublime.
So mortality isn't just a downer, it's a tool.
It's the ultimate continual deadline. Knowing your time is limited creates urgency. It forces you to strip away the trivial, commit fully to what matters, lose your ego in the flow of your work or passions. It clarifies everything.
What an incredible arc. We went from this naive beginner looking for purpose through all the messy social battles and strategic calculations to arrive at this place of rational self-awareness and a sense of connection to something vast.
And perhaps the final, most practical liberation comes from tackling loneliness. Greene suggests our deepest pain often stems from disappointing relationships. But the cure, radical curiosity.
Curiosity, how does it help loneliness?
By realizing that every single person you encounter, even the cashier you barely notice, has a deep, rich inner life, just as complex and fascinating as your own. Once you truly grasp that and approach others with genuine curiosity about their inner world,
Loneliness kind of dissolves because reality itself becomes endlessly interesting.
exactly, you stop being trapped in your own head and start seeing the profound richness everywhere. It's the final payoff for shedding all those illusions we started with.
That's a fantastic thought to end on. Curiosity as the ultimate antidote to isolation.
It connects everything back together.
Thanks for joining us. Subscribe for more bookish adventures and hit that like button if you enjoyed the ride. Don't forget to share the knowledge, spread the word.